everyone, and welcome to Commanding on a Budget. This week's budget pick is Faith's Fetters. This Ravnica common can be found for less than 25 cents. It can target any permanent, so it shuts down everything from creatures to planeswalkers and lands. Today we'll take a look at a Geist of Saint Traft deck submitted by Adam Sasquatch Melfa. Geist is only a 2/2, so giving him evasion and making him bigger is a priority. Voltron decks are very popular in Commander, but they can be very expensive. Popular equipments like Umezawa's Jitte, the Protection Swords, and Batterskull range in price from $10 to $35. Even Darksteel Plate is a $5 card. This Geist of Saint Traft list solves that problem by playing auras. Many playgroups don't pack much enchantment hate, and Geist's hexproof makes the normal drawback of auras less detrimental. Since this is a list focused on making Geist turn sideways, it plays a lot of cheap Exalted cards to make him even bigger. This deck can be built for about $60. The first category of cards are all the Exalted cards. These help make Geist beefy enough to withstand battle. Most of them are very cheap, meaning you'll always have blockers or early game beats if you want them. Ether-Cased Knight, Sided-Cased Sorcerer, Acrossan Squire, Aven Squire, and Sigiled Paladin are all cheap beaters with Exalted. Guardians of Acrossa, a good defensive dude. Frontline Sage, looters are never bad to have around. Ardent Plea gives you a source of Exalted that can't be wrathed away. Just be sure that you have a good creature out when you cast it, since many of the cards you could cascade into are cheap ways to make a creature unblockable. Battle Grace Angel. Exalted is awesome enough, but also giving a creature lifelink makes this angel a great addition to any deck. She's great for Geist, and even a decent beater on her own. Geist's biggest weakness as a general is that he's only a 2/2. A good solution to that is to make him unblockable, so he doesn't have a chance to die in combat. Ghost Form and Infiltrate are cheap ways to make Geist unblockable. Artful Dodge and Distortion Strike are also super cheap, but they can be used twice. Jesse and Balmgiver can make Geist unblockable every turn. Rogue's Passage can also make Geist unblockable repeatedly, but it has the advantage of being harder to remove. Whisper Silk Cloak makes Geist permanently unblockable, but at the price of giving him Shroud, which means you can't put anything else on him. Here are the auras that will make your general into a force to be reckoned with, as well as some cards that play well with them. Unquestioned Authority, Holy Mantle, and Spirit Mantle give Geist protection from creatures, which means he's practically unblockable and won't die in combat. Tricks of the Trade is another cheap unblockable source, but on an enchantment, which is more synergistic with the rest of the deck. Steel of the Godhead makes Geist an unblockable, lifelink nightmare. Auramancer's Guise takes advantage of other enchantments to make one big creature. Battle Mastery, a game-ending aura, especially when combined with any of the other enchantments. Bruna, Light of Alabaster. Sometimes someone tucks your general and you need another way to win the game. Bruna can utilize the same cards that Geist does, which makes her a perfect fit. Sovereigns of Lost Alara tutors up all your awesome auras while still giving an Exalted trigger. It also gets around Whisper Silk Cloak to allow you to attach more enchantments to Geist without having to move the equipment. Since most of this deck is devoted to winning with one creature, playing a lot of Wrath effects really isn't an option. These cards help make attacking you unfavorable. Michiko Konda Truthseeker doesn't let opponents attack you if they meet a certain criteria. She simply punishes them if they do. Just be sure not to play her if an opponent is looking for a sack outlet. Plumeveil ambushes attacking creatures. Silent Arbiter. Since you're attacking with just one creature anyway, Silent Arbiter will only be annoying for your opponents. Propaganda and Windborn Muse make attacking you a chore. Drift of Phantasms is a great wall or can tutor up 3-cost cards, such as your general should he get tucked. Fogbank, Wall of Denial, and Cathedral Membrane are some of the best walls that Blue-White has to offer. Guafa Hazid Profiteer hands out pacifisms. Esperia Supreme Judge. A huge flying blocker that draws cards normally means that attackers will be sent elsewhere. Timely Reinforcements, War Report, and Pollen Lullaby help buy you some time against super aggressive decks. Crawl Space. If you're only attacking with 2 creatures, why shouldn't everyone else? This deck was originally designed for 1v1 duels, but hating out commanders is still useful in multiplayer. These cards make sure you'll be the only one abusing their general, and most of the cards are solid against any powerful creature. Meddling Mage and Nevermore ensure that problem generals and combo pieces won't worry you too much. Vow of Duty and Vow of Flight make your opponents send their best creatures against other people, or they can be used to buff Geist in a pinch. Mind Control and Debt of Loyalty. Stealing commanders means you don't have to worry about taking damage from them. Oblation and Spell Crumple. This deck has a few backup plans if its commander gets tucked, but that might not be true of your opponent's decks. Swords to Plowshares. White's classic removal. It's great for powerful creatures you just don't want coming back. Clone can kill commanders or copy something like Sun Titan. Finally, this deck packs a little of everything that make blue and white great commander colors. A touch of removal, a dash of draw power, and one lonely sword. Planar Cleansing and Austere Command are mass removal spells that take care of artifacts and enchantments as well as creatures. Divine Reckoning. Equip and enchant your Geist, then blow up the rest of the board. It's like starting a race with a 10-minute head start. Sun Titan gets back all the cheap cards in the deck, such as Battle Mastery and Propaganda. Thistledown Liege makes all those tiny creatures much bigger threats. True Conviction makes your blockers beastly and your attackers game-ending. Angelic Shield makes your creatures better on the defensive and can be used to bounce Geist to avoid a sweeper. Disenchant, the white Naturalize. Fabricate can find all your cool artifacts. Ponder and Preordain let you smooth a few draws. Rhystic Study. Draw cards or make your opponents pay more mana for their spells. Either is good. Sundial of the Infinite lets you keep your angels from Geist and gives you style points. Sword of Vengeance. The budget sword, aka a chroma sword, it will make Geist truly awesome in combat. This deck plays only one non-basic land, which means that cards like Blood Moon won't hurt it. For the basics, there are 17 plains and 18 islands. This deck's non-budget acquisitions are a little different from ones I've done previously. Adam was gracious enough to let me cut 7 cards from his deck to take it back to its budget beginnings, so here are the cards he's added since then to improve his deck. Sublime Angel and Silverblade Paladin both make Geist an even better beater. Hero of Bladehold can put pressure on the board if Geist isn't around. Grand Arbiter Augustin IV makes all your blue spells and white spells cheaper while slowing down your opponents. Sword of Feast and Famine and Sword of Fire and Ice are both very powerful equipment. Enlightened Tutor can find all your equipments and enchantments. I really like all the auras in the deck, so I think that adding Eldrazi Conscription and Angelic Destiny would make Sovereigns of Lost Alara even more devastating. Next we have the strengths of the deck. It's great if you want to play in a 1v1 setting. It can take care of powerful generals. Cheap beats and general support mean this deck can win early in the game. And it can still function if Geist gets tucked. Now for the weaknesses. It loses to control decks that prevent it from getting off the ground. It can be stuck in top deck mode during long games. Geist is only a 2/2, so you need support for him before you can attack. And enchantment hate makes this deck very sad. You should play this deck if you like decks that are devoted to their general. You want a Voltron deck that isn't all about equipment. You like casting your commander early in the game, or you want to be able to win quickly. Adam's Sasquatch Melfa's Geist of Saint Traft deck shows how realistic it is to start off budget and work your way up. He started off with a cheap deck, and he's been making improvements ever since. How cheap was your first commander deck? Let me know in the comments section below, and as always, thanks for watching.